listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. I'm with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane this morning. If you'd like to text the show and thus be part of our interactive experience, you can text us on 81215. If you're a bit more 21st century, why not follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio? Or if you're a tired old traditionalist, why not just email us via the Absolute Radio website? There you go, that's that done. I feel now I can... Oh, I've got an...
Or you could page us.
Yeah, you can page me.
If it's stuck in the 80s.
You can... that was a joke I always really liked that no one ever cared for, is... What's the definition of optimism? A banjo player with a pager. And relax. Okay, so...
do you understand it?
No, I don't think I do.
No, I don't.
Oh, is it that someone's going to page him to give him a job? Because banjo is not a nice...
It might be that.
Is that what it is?
Might be. I don't know, I'm just leaving it out there. I don't work with footnotes. Thanks, Daisy. Daisy's contract's coming up this week. I think you'll find she'll be laughing that little bit more today. But laughing like that. That's like hysteria. Not really, as if we'd ever get rid of Daisy. I should rather get rid of my right hand. Well, maybe the left. Anyway, I've got an itch on my leg, which is driving me to distraction.
Don't look to me.
Oh, no, actually, I've misread that. It's driving me to dis, which is in East Anglia.
What about that banjo joke? Terrible.
We'll come back to it.
Don't dwell.
I'm happy to dwell on a bad joke. Let me see.
Oh, yeah, he'll string it out.
Let me see.
He'll string out his banjo joke.
Frank's made another joke.
Help us out. I can't find it.
Okay, tell us about that bite.
I had a really funny idea then, but I can't find it. That's the first funny idea to fall flat. Not the last. I don't care.
I'm not sure it is the first this week, to be honest.
I'm not sure it's the first this morning. Tell us about the bite.
I was bitten at the Royal Academy of Arts yesterday on my leg by an insect. I mean, not by not an artist. That's what they do. And a lady who I was working with said, rub a banana skin on it. What? Now, I wondered if this was a cure just for comedians who had been bitten because of the aptness of the banana skin. I was told once while holidaying in Italy, a lemon.
Oh yeah, lemon.
So does that do the trick, does it?
Cures everything.
I think out there amongst our readers there must be the best thing to stop a bite itching. And I'm not talking about your medical creams.
No.
You want an old wives' tale?
I want a Culpepper's herbal approach to it.
Well, Emily was straight in with a saliva recommendation, wasn't she?
That was very kind of her, but it didn't seem proper.
Antiseptic. Yeah. Too early.
Do you think saliva does it?
I think
it does
there is
the
something
trick.
in it that's good for it, yeah.
Actually, Sandy Moore is nodding next door, but I mean, she might be listening to German Umpa music. Or she could be agreeing. It's very hard to tell.
Would it kill you to experiment?
She's carrying a large tankard with a lid on it.
She's preparing for Oktoberfest.
When is that?
All right, Donna. But Frank, I'm willing to experiment quite genuinely with the saliva if you'd like me to.
Can you rustle me some up?
Yeah, I'll see what I can
do.
Can
I say this? It's just above my ankle, this thing. Don't anyone thinking this is getting on to what?
But it's a bare ankle, isn't it? Because you've come in your shorts.
Not only have I got shorts, but I've gone for a trainer sock this morning, so my ankles are complete. I think I've got quite a nice, nicely turned ankle, as they say.
Yeah.
But I'm uneasy.
You want to be a geography teacher, and I would.
If Emily is prepared to provide the spittle for the first test for your bite, I'm prepared to eat a banana and you can have the skin. So
I love this. It's like a fabulous pit stop that I've stopped in, and the whole team are helping me out.
Happy to muck in.
Okay, well, you start peeling if you can move into drool mode. Then I think we've got something going here.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Biscuits are a bit stale, Frank.
Do you think?
Look, I didn't supply the biscuits. Do I look like a caterer?
No, but you did supply the first-class joke earlier.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. We've had a text response from that. Hi all, new definition of optimism, expecting a laugh from a joke involving a pager and a banjo player. Sorry, Frank.
Who was that from?
That's from 319.
319.
And they do put that little colon and then the smile with the brackets, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Colon and a smile. That's
smiley
nice.
face emoticon.
One for the anatomists. What is it? A smiley face emoticon, yeah.
Frank, what about the last 5 minutes when you played that song and I just sat there trying to guess what was funny about that joke and I couldn't?
Yeah,
really.
Emily is one of the sharpest knives in the drawer, I would say, is still trying to work out the banjo player and the pager. It's
what is it then?
It's to do. Well, I'll tell you what. It's to do.
We should say so. The joke is.
What's the definition of optimism? A banjo player with a pager.
And I said, is it because it's got
something to do with time delay when you were trying to get at?
Is it because it's a time delay?
I don't know. I find the pager pretty efficient.
Okay.
I mean, they were used by surgeons.
They were.
But this is it, I think. Is a banjo player thinking that the need for a banjo is so desperate and so immediate that it's worth having a pager, I think.
Is that the joke?
It used to be a genre amongst musicians, the banjo player joke. A bit like drummer jokes, you know.
Oh, is it like drummer? Okay, I understand that.
A bit like... But drummers are sort of seen as stupid. If there's any drummers listening, can I say I don't subscribe to that view?
No.
And after all, Karen Carpenter was a drummer. And she was...
My boyfriend plays the drums.
Oh, well, there you go.
He's also an actor.
Yeah.
He's also my boyfriend.
Okay. That's three good reasons to think him a bright...
I'm just waiting for to say something that remotely is relevant to me going, ba-doom-tsh. But so far it hasn't happened.
Shot.
I was just waiting and nothing was relevant.
Anyway, I don't think every joke has to get laughs. I think it's nice sometimes if they stand in a little island of silence.
Can that be autobiography number 3, darling?
Yes, I think it could.
Great title.
I might get it on a T-shirt.
That should be my Edinburgh show. Anyway, let's move on.
No. If you'd like to see Alan Cochrane's Edinburgh, tickets are available.
You did say that Emily was one of the sharpest tools in the box.
I don't think I said tool. I don't think I said box.
Knives in the drawer. That's right.
It shows how your mind works.
We've had a text from
on breakfast radio. For goodness' sake, man, get a grip.
We've had a text from 808. I wonder what state they're in. Hey, 808.
Oh,
all right,
I got that.
I didn't get that, you say.
No, I know, but you get your banjo jokes.
Yeah.
So there's something for everyone.
Okay, 808, state 808. Carry on.
When is that this text begins? It's September Oktoberfest, named after King Octavius.
Oh, so it's not in October?
Apparently not. You're welcome.
Thank you. Who was that from?
It's from Andy in Suffolk, who says, only know this as I'm going for the first time. Does M. Meister General want to come with 7 burly and 1 puny cockneys? There you go, you've had a night's move to go to Oktoberfest.
Well, I'm afraid... I'd love to go.
Would it be a night or a nacht?
I'm going to have to graciously decline.
Are you? You know why?
Why?
Is it because...
I've got a boyfriend.
Oh, of course. Of course. That was my approach.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Can I say I just did a good thing? I did a good deed.
What?
Well, our producer Daisy, he was just starting an anecdote.
Yeah.
And she said, the driver... And you know when you start an anecdote, you realise no one's listening to you.
Oh, no.
I'm always the person in a group like that. You know, they've moved on. I'm always the person who listens for that plaintive voice in the wilderness. And this happens to me so often. Someone says, my dad always used... And they think, oh, no one's listening. And then they find me with my eyes trained on them to help them through. Yeah. And they can just give me their anecdote.
Yeah, I know.
And they're happy with that because they think, well, he's a professional comedian and appreciate more than most people anyway. And I do that. I'm a little rescue act for people who've started an anecdote that hasn't been heard by those around. I do that all the time.
That's very good of you.
I've taken advantage of your good nature.
I mean, you know what I think? Yeah. I think actually you're listening to other people's stories because you're thinking, the moment they pause, I'm going to crack a funny.
I don't believe you said that. Well, I do, because I know there's a lot of resentment in there. Oh.
So you know how I deal with that? I just say, no one's listening to me.
Yeah.
You do that.
I do.
It's good that you've stopped with that, because obviously it worked very early on in your life when you were like 3, and you thought, and a lot of people think, it's time I moved on, but you thought, no, I'm sticking with this one. come on, listen to me. And, for some people it was sounding infantile, but you seem to, it's grown with you.
Yeah.
I love it.
Proud of me. Now listen, Frank, we have some remedies
Oh, good.
to cure that old bite of yours.
You haven't licked my upper ankle yet, I notice. This will be odd for people who've just tuned in. But to hell with them and their tardiness.
Alan feels sick at the thought of that. It's quite specialist interest, I agree.
Yeah.
Tea tree oil, Frank.
What is that?
724. Now, I've used that.
What is it? There is a thing called the tea tree.
I don't know. It's called tea tree oil. I don't ask its derivation. I just use the product when it's
Doesn't
sent
it
to
come
me.
from a tea tree? Yeah.
Yeah, I presume
But
so.
tea, that's not where tea comes from, is it? A tea tree.
No,
we're
it's from
starting
the
a whole
plant.
extra text in on
That's from the
page
tea
12,
plant, Frank.
15.
I seem to remember on PG...
That's in the plant.
On the box of PG Tips, there was some
Is
women...
that where you base all your tea
Well,
knowledge?
there used to be pictures of women from the Asian subcontinent, and I remember they were slightly hunched over. Mm-hmm. So I don't think they were taking it from a tree. Unlike when you see, say, a giraffe eating and they're sort of craned upwards, they were stooped, these women. So I'm thinking it must grow on the ground, tea.
Yeah, I'm wondering
Anyway, tea tree oil, we'll try it. Sorry, Alan.
if PG Tips were doing exact depictions, and they had the women picking it, what happened in the 80s when they started selling tea using monkeys on swings? How did that corroborate to where they got it from?
Because monkeys, of course, they operate on a whole lower level, so they don't have to stoop.
I thought they climbed as well. Anyway, we've got various remedies for you.
Yeah.
Fully clothed, some of them.
Yeah.
That was never explained.
Well, the monkeys.
Yeah. Cup of tea, Mr. Shifter. Anyway, tea tree oil, okay.
Yeah.
My
I'll
mum
have to
used
buy
to
that
put-
from a...
Someone's saying...
Oh, darling, don't buy it. I'll get it sent in.
Oh, thank you very much.
Nice.
That'd be lovely.
Gary from Liverpool has texted, my mum used to put vinegar on wasp stings and then she put a dock leaf on it held with a plaster.
Now, see, dock leaf,
that
I
would be a
like
good
the
look
idea of
for
it,
you to
because
walk
that
around.
really does feel close to the earth.
Yes.
Okay.
Warm spoon.
Pardon?
Warm spoon.
Yeah, I will use a warm spoon.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like a hot spoon and burn it?
on
a
the
bit?
bite.
Yeah,
Okay.
someone's saying heat a teaspoon with hot water and touch the bite with the spoon. Apparently it kills the protein that causes the itch. I like that because it's it could be made up, but then they've chucked in the word protein that makes it sound a bit sciencey.
Bit of science, and then they've brought it back with itch, made it a bit colloquial, made it a bit folky. I'm loving it. Well, we're not going to do too many of these, but I am going to try somehow, and I am properly itching, and you are properly helping, so thank you.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
A lot of suggestions coming through for your bite, Frank.
Can I say I just went across to get saliva from Emily Dean.
It was disgusting.
I just thought she could just basically...
You stood over me in combat Bermudas demanding saliva.
Have you
Guess
got-
what the answer was?
Well, you said don't do it now, I've got biscuit in my mouth, is what you said. I don't know if so I've got to go back after the next song for more
Never
saliva.
go back.
I've got to go back. Like it's a journey.
I don't know if I've ever said gob on my calf to a woman before, but you know what? It felt good.
Right, Paul has suggested you need a dose of Man Up, Frank.
Oh, man up.
Oh,
I see. I see what he's getting at, Paul. Yeah, I'm not very good at man up. But what's the alternative? Man down! You know what I mean? It's a bit scary. Yes, I probably do, but I'm itching. And I'm not ashamed of that. And do I really want to man up? Because, it's men, isn't it, that cause most of the trouble in the world. Warfare and aggression. Yeah. Okay.
smelling on the tubes. William has used a Category C swear word to
no.
suggest you urinate on it.
Oh.
Yeah, well, I already have tried urine on it. Not deliberately. It just happened and doesn't seem to have helped at all.
Absolutely despicable.
Yes, The Guardian.
Terry has said cut it out with a razor.
No, Terry is...
Tough love
was he
from
in the
Terry
SAS? Terry?
He then adds, also, I'm in love with Emily.
Do you want to go out with Terry, though? He's a bit of a razor, man.
I would, but I can't.
Oh, I know what. I know.
She's got a boyfriend. We've also
It's drumming.
we've had an email entitled Banjo Joke saying since Mumford and Sons, banjos have been on the updating the joke, I suggest the new optimism joke should be a flautist with a CFAX page.
Oh,
Not
that's
sure.
good.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's odd that, because
It's not having the...
I think Momford have taken the banjo and to continue a theme they've urinated on it.
Perhaps it had a bee sting.
But perhaps we're all different. It had a B string. Actually, do they have a B string? There'll be musicians thinking, oh, that joke didn't work. It doesn't have a B string on a banjo. I mean, come on. Is that my pager? Anyway, we should leave off the bites thing now, but thank you so much for your help. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know, you said this during the last link, and then you went round and tried to get your leg spat on, and it didn't work. So you said leave off it, but I'm not leaving it until you've been spat on.
I'm getting it cured mid-music, though, and the people at home can be enjoying themselves making tea and...
I don't know if you are. Can I be honest?
I don't
There's
know if
something
you
that I
are.
didn't like about the urgency of your tone when you asked for that saliva.
Well, I'm itching.
I'll spit on you instead if you want.
I'm itching. Will you?
Yeah,
I'll take my saliva where I can get it. I think we all will.
Don't spit on him. Worst film I've ever seen.
Oh,
You spitting on
awful.
him.
He spat on my grave or something like that. Is that what it's called? Oh, it's not called that. Okay.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I'm thinking I might stop reading books.
What?
I've always loved books my whole life. I'd even describe myself as bookish.
Mm-hmm.
But I wondered if magazines might be a more efficient way of gathering information.
Oh.
And I travelled recently, and I think a bit heavier book. I have a Kindle, but I thought, you know what I'll do? I'll take 3 or 4 magazines.
Oh, yeah.
And
Which ones did you go for then?
Oh, I went for the Tablet, the Roman Catholic Weekly,
Natch.
DWM, the Doctor Who magazine, and BBC History.
Oh.
And can I say they were a rattling good read, all of them.
Wow.
And it was lighter to carry.
Yeah, but can I be honest? You know I will be.
Yeah.
If I saw you walk into the plane holding those 3, my heart would sink if you sat next to me.
Oh, my heart wouldn't sink if he sat next to me. I'd think, oh, brilliant, this guy's going to be asleep pretty soon. Look how boring those 3 magazines are. He'll be off.
But that's fine. I don't mind that, because
I think this guy will be ringing his mum when he gets on the phone.
But, you know...
I'm here, mummy.
But we're all different, and that's fine. And this is the thing with magazines: there's a whole world of choice. If you want your Grazias and whatever, you can have those. If you want your motorcycle news,
When you're in Styles, can you plug my magazine? Thank you.
Yeah, in style, if that's what you want.
Oh.
And it's good. And the nice thing about them, I found you don't need a bookmark. You can just leave them folded back. They're lightweight, and the brilliant thing is when you
1820.
when you
It's a
finish.
national
Just
advert
discovered
for
magazines.
When you finish, well, people say that guy looks quite. A guy in the glasses over there, he looks quite magazine-ish. That's what I want to say. That guy looks bookish, but that guy looks a bit more. You know, he's got more about him. He's slightly magazine-ish.
How thick is the tablet, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh well, it's. I'd say it's about 40 pages, something like that.
Oh, more of a pamphlet, really.
Well, I don't know about that. More of a lozenge than a tablet, you might say.
These will be the names that they use for the next versions of the exact gadgets you're talking about, the pamphlet and the
Who
lozenge.
edits that then? Editor-at-large, the Pope?
No, but you can choose. No, I don't think he's involved.
You're not involved?
It's quite rebellious, actually, the tablet. Try it. It's... I keep taking the... No. But there's everything, you know what I mean? I know sometimes when we think magazines, we instantly think Woman's Realm.
No, you don't.
It's not your first...
No.
Oh.
Because it's not 1963.
Okay, it is in our house. I've been around out in Aurus recently, I think it is 1963. But there's all sorts of, really quite uplifting and challenging magazines.
Mm-hmm.
So...
What about Truckers Monthly?
But isn't it great, though, when you finish, you just bin them. It's not like books. You don't have a big magazine
You bin
case
them.
at home. Yeah.
But when you're on the road, you just bin them. I always feel like somebody else should get a magazine. I feel like there should be a hand-me-down
Waste not,
thing
want
going on.
not.
If they want to take it out the bin, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine,
Do you
but at
not
least
keep the Doctor Who
You like the
magazines?
idea of the Catholics foraging for your discarded the tablets?
I'd be honest with you, I do keep the Doctor Who magazines.
I knew you
But the
would.
others I do throw
In
away.
a room. They have a room.
Well, they're in a room, but there's
Right.
also a toilet in that room, to be fair. I was in the Doctor Who magazine recently. I started looking pretty
Shut
good.
up.
One of those photos, you know when you look like someone said, "Hey, Frank," and you look back over your shoulder and they photograph you, like the opening credits of Dallas.
Oh, is that what you
nice.
look
It's
like?
one of those, yeah. It's nice because the neck looks slightly twisted, like I'm beginning to become a walnut whirl.
And as himself, Frank Skinner.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, exactly. First, you've just seen Charlene Tilton maybe stepping off an aeroplane, and then it's me, Frank Skinner, and I'm just getting out of a car. Who said that? And it's me, surprised. It's a lovely picture.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I can't tell you how many times yesterday my girlfriend said to me, "Oh, it's hot, isn't it? What's the point in keep saying it over and over like that?" And I said that. She said, "I know, I don't know why I keep saying it." And I'd say it was 10 minutes before she said it again.
She wants to wash her pants. That's what she did last time.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's a good idea.
That cooled her
Wash
down
your
good and
pants in
proper.
cold water, wring them out and put them back on.
Yeah.
Lovely.
And if you happen to be passing a bite on the way...
I could give that a crack, yeah.
Well, 319 says to help someone with a bite itch, I tell them the banjo pager joke. It confuses them so much they completely forget about the bite.
Well done. What you've done there, you've fused two themes into one perfect. I think that gives us closure on the banjo and the bite.
Well, we've got
Who did that?
319.
319. You've cracked it.
we've got some closure from Jackie in South Shields. I say some, it's not quite conclusive. Tea tree oil comes from the leaves of a tree from Australia and New Zealand. The tree name is something like Melaleuca. Something like...
Is it Katie Malua?
Yeah.
Is it? It's not Malua. It's Melua.
Katie Melua.
Because if it was Malua, it would lend itself to poetry. If one was... a new album of Katie Malua. I can only describe it as utter manure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard it, by the way. It's probably brilliant.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so so that's it with me. Magazines now, from now on. I'm throwing all the books out. I might burn them all this afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All
Confuses
right,
people
Hitler.
if you burn. Exactly, I've put my armband on.
How's Blondie?
Yeah, what I'm going to do is just stand deleting them from my Kindle. The modern way of protesting.
Sans armband.
No, I'm not.
Slightly less symbolic.
You know, I've thought this
Why do you
before.
just hear the deleted files going?
Exactly. That's if the Nazis had happened today, that's what they'd have done. They'd have started deleting files from their Kindle, burning. Yeah. Anyway, so I nearly said burning Ewoks.
I don't want you to stop reading.
No, you know I've
I
always
love
gone.
seeing you with a pot boiler.
When I but you know I've settled down now. I got nothing against those women, but it was a phase in my life. I fancy a digest as well. Don't you ever look at a Reader's Digest and think there must be good stuff in
Well,
there?
I think we know who looks at a Reader's Digest
Oh, of
and thinks there
course.
must be good stuff in there. What was the column called?
I forgot you had a column.
Little...
Little Epiphanies, that was it, wasn't it?
Little
yeah.
Epiphanies. Alan Cochrane's Reader's Digest column.
Yeah. No longer with us.
No, but the thing is, when I think of buying a Reader's Digest, I don't think of a newsagent. I think of an Oxfam shop. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's my natural terrain, isn't it?
Yeah, so I might try that. I have
I
to
like
say.
it. Quite
But, yeah.
piano teachers, aren't
But
they?
you know, I thought this when I got Kindle that I wouldn't buy another book, and then I did it, and then I went in the bookshop and I just went straight back to it. So we'll see. But I like the idea of being the magazine man. If anyone knows any really interesting and odd
Magazine man.
magazines, by the way, do feel free to
I know a few.
recommend. No, come on, I don't want any of that. My age.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with E. Dean and A. Cochrane. You
primary
can
school.
text the show on 81215 or follow the show on Twitter with a hey no at Frank on the radio. Or you can email the Absolute Radio website. Hi. Is that done?
Is it over?
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
That's all right. I think it's like the
really enjoyed
traditional
that.
feel
Given
to
what you
it.
said about my singing last week.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed both, Emily.
Thank you.
But I enjoyed that, Frank.
Thank you, Alan. You're a good man.
Tickets
for Alan Cochrane.
Tickets still available, probably.
At the stand, is it?
It is at the stand.
At the stand in Edinburgh. Okay.
This is a rare plugging moment on this show. We don't do that
Well,
sort
I
of
think,
thing
you
much.
know, I'm trying to raise you up. Jerry Halliwell gave me the idea. Lift me up.
Build me
Yeah,
up.
lift me up.
Lift me up.
Lift me up.
Raise Me Up was Josh Grodin, or whatever his name is. Don't say I don't know who that is. You're on a chat show on the same
Oh,
stage.
yes.
Hey,
Groban.
speaking of Jerry Halliwell, who of all the celebrities do you think lies in bed thinking about what to wear the next day? It's not Jerry Halliwell.
Jeremy Clarkson.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
What about Richard Hammond?
He
No,
got- yeah.
surely they both just have, like, bootcut jeans on the side, ready there. Boom.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a disgusting
and
shirt.
pendants.
Yeah, and a pendant.
Is it Gok?
It's, I'm gonna tell you, it's
Okay.
Posh Spice.
Oh,
Which,
okay.
I was reading this, and I thought, Posh Spice, I thought, oh, saffron, that's a posh spice, isn't it, that we don't use very
Nice.
often.
If only her real name was Saffron.
But then I thought, is that a joke that's in Ab Fab? Is that why there's a character in it called Saffron? Is that a Posh Spice joke?
No, you're overthinking it.
Yeah.
Am I?
I
You've
like
gone a
the
bit
idea.
banjo joke.
No, that if you ever do a thesis on Absolutely Fabulous, that's the kind of thing you can develop. You
Well,
think you might do that?
No, I'm not going to do a thesis on Absolutely Fabulous.
I liked all her little habits. She did this interview and she said she doesn't do the washing up.
Yeah.
Oh, is that a shot?
Well, who
Lewis?
does? I mean, except people in Coronation Street.
You can't.
No one does the washing up. Everyone's got a dishwasher.
You can't
Yeah,
imagine Posh Spice putting the old yellow marigolds on, can you?
No.
Not in the kitchen.
And I like the fact that she's got
Chicken
she's got
feet.
an apron that says that she doesn't wash up. That's cool.
When does she wear it?
I don't know.
None
But
of,
she
your,
does.
none of your beeswax. She eats bee pollen.
Oh, I've had bee pollen.
Oh, how
Or
was
was it superpod? No, bee pollen. It's actually all right, but I felt
it?
a bit bad about eating it because I thought, surely this serves a very important
Well,
Right.
purpose in
You
the
know-
In
world.
Chinese restaurants when you
I'm
order
quite obsessed by
suckling
bee
pig or
pollen
something.
because, well, it's so good for your skin. It's the
Is it?
Bee
yeah.
pollen.
But do you know how long it takes the bees to gather enough? One portion that you had, that's an 8-hour day for a month.
Yeah, but there's loads of them. There's loads of them, and
There's
they're
less.
working away.
There's less of them.
Fewer,
Yeah.
yeah.
So is it frowned upon by ecological folk to eat bee
Oh, I don't
pollen?
know. I just know what fashion folk buy.
Well,
I don't know about those bees.
Victoria says 22 amino acids, 12 vitamins, 28 minerals. Please don't write that I'm completely mad. We don't want wrinkles. So, if other
We
people
don't want
are-
wrinkles, we want winkles. That's what she should have said. If she'd been moving on to a seafood diet thing. That
Oh,
would-
yeah.
I'm presuming it sounds like she's rapping. Is she rapping
So
that?
what she was doing, she was rapping to the interview.
28 vitamins. I bet she does rap around the house. I wouldn't be I just not rap around the house, obviously.
No.
Not like
Too thin for that.
not like Mr. Fantastic. But
$8.99 birthday cake from M&S for David.
what
I loved that.
I bet you love that.
I thought it said it was 8:39.
Oh, did you think it was one of your little number things?
I thought I'm going to have to go to M&S if they've taken.
39. It is 8.39.
There you
Brilliant.
go. They've taken a maverick pricing,
Yeah.
Yes.
thing, which I thought I'm going to go there because they're people who think a bit differently.
Unless it was actually $8.99 at first, and she just bought it with one of those stickers on it because it was like pushing its sell-by date.
She wouldn't. do
That would be
she?
brilliant.
I
wouldn't it?
imagine her bony fingers would pierce the casing and she'd be caught. It was a strange story, but we'll come back to it.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've had a text just come in from 104. Frank, I'm worried about Emily. There's a lot of talk from her today about eating biscuits and cake.
This is what happens
when you meet a boyfriend.
Yeah.
You're going to pull the ripcord, as you would say.
Oh, yeah. I'm going for it.
Well, I don't know if that's the best idea.
Well,
this is why I admire the homosexuals. They can be together for years and still go to the gymnasium every day. Heterosexuals, they don't have that kind of...
How is Lance? How is Lance? Lance and the guys?
Well, he's keeping a low profile, let's put it that way. I'd rather not mention that particular gentleman, the way he's been at the moment.
Gentleman.
Nevertheless...
Sorry I brought him up.
So we're talking about VB.
Yeah.
Can I tell you what...
I remember when she was VA.
Oh, yeah.
Victoria Adams. And I spoke to a pop star who I won't name, I must have told you this, who went to her parents' house. And she still lived with her parents.
Right.
And they were, and I say this with some affection, they were nouveau riche, because I'm nouveau riche myself, I have no,
Yeah, you are. Most people are.
Well,
what does Michael Heseltine says? If you have to buy your own furniture, you're nouveau riche.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that the first time Michael Heseltine's been quoted on this show?
It's definitely the first or second.
Well, I'll tell you something, it will not be the last.
No.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I made up my mind.
Oh, no, I do apologise. Alan Clark said it about Michael Heseltine.
Michael Heseltine's been misquoted.
It was Alan Clark who said it.
Anyway, and this, they had to go and pick Victoria up from the Addams family. Not from the Addams family. That was like a film. And they had like a big house with a bit of mock Tudor outside. You know those sort of posh houses you see in the suburbs.
Yeah.
And in the hallway they had a suit of armour.
Did they?
No, I love that. That's someone who thinks it's a castle to us.
Oh.
That's nice.
Oh, lovely. When I've said, she said the house is full of Jo Malone candles. She said
she did. Yeah.
And I don't know that if you see Posh of late, she's always dressed in black and looking very moody. I wouldn't want her appearing behind a table of candles late at night, would you? It's like being in Castle Dracula. Kids must be frightened to death when she pops up.
What about
bedtime? I think.
What about when she said she spends hours in bed thinking about what to wear the next morning? I related to that so much, you have no idea. In fact, only the other week, that reminded me, Frank, you asked me that self-same question. Do you recall this?
Do I? Did I?
You were looking at a photograph of Simon Cowell in the newspaper.
Well, yes.
And...
business as usual.
You felt that his outfits, perhaps, he didn't put much time, care and attention into...
Well, it's a loosely fitted white shirt, just, and jeans. And often misjudged black shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, well, how long did you say you took? I can't remember.
You can't help that. It's like a disability thing. It
took quite a long time, didn't you?
Didn't know that.
And you told me how long do you take thinking about your clothes? So up to, it can be 45 minutes.
Wow.
I mean, I spent about 20 minutes tossing up between two platform wedges.
Really? Do you mean you stood between them tossing up?
No, I think I open my eyes to think about the clothes.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll get up and I'll go, oh, and I'll have like a numbskull's inspiration.
Yeah.
And I have to open the wardrobe to see if the blouse, for example, I need is dry cleaned and ready.
Okay. I have to say, I mean, it'd be easy to think, well, Emily's very shallow because she works in the fashion industry, but I give quite a bit of thought to my...
Do you?
Yeah, I don't...
And the good thing is you'd never know it.
That's it, and that's the trick, I must say. I think we'll come back to this because one of our obligations, of course, is advertising, and I think it actually quite like it. It's better than some of the... it's better than playing police, I always say. It's an old saying in radio.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've had a text in from Tom. Can you tell Emily that her presumption that nobody does the washing up is wholly incorrect? As I stand here in my Commando Bermuda shorts...
Sorry, just unzipping my jacket.
Oh, right. Is that the mention of his Commando Bermuda shorts?
Funnily enough, exactly what Frank is wearing.
Yeah.
I think he means, with...
he doesn't mean without pants.
I think he might.
As worn by a commander.
Oh, I'm not sure that's what he does mean.
Okay.
But as I stand here in my Bermuda shorts, doing the washing up, whilst listening to your show and dreaming of the day I have a dishwasher, the day I have a dishwasher will be the day I can honestly say I've made it in life. It's good to aim high, Tom.
It is, yeah.
Oh, I love Tom.
I thought the dishwasher would get rid of the rows about the washing
You
up.
would think so, but Daisy, the producer, just announced, I banned the dishwasher in our house.
Yeah.
She won't allow it. She says it's too expensive.
Too juicy, innit? It's too juicy.
Well, I'm a fan of the dishwasher.
Well,
I really feel when not so much filling it, but emptying. When I empty the dishwasher and put everything in I really feel like I've done some proper hardcore housework.
Do you?
Yeah. When I redistribute it to its correct places, it feels so orderly and proper.
Oh, I love it. Do you want to come round and we can unload my dishwasher together?
Wow.
Well, the trouble is, though...
Then she'll spit on your leg.
What I like about doing it at home is that I then say, oh, yeah, I've emptied the dishwasher. And as if it's like, don't worry about that. What I'm saying is, you know what? I've emptied the dishwasher, ladies and gentlemen. I'm waiting for just that little bit of, oh, thanks, well done. Mm-hmm. Oh, good, you've emptied the dishwasher. Those little moments are what keep me going at home.
And I get the reverse of that. I get my wife walking into the kitchen and going, that could have gone straight in the dishwasher. You know, when I've just put it on the top and walked off.
Well, that's also true. But what happens is, you see, people leave the clean stuff in there, and then you think, you're going to put a dirty plate in there, you think, oops! Still clean stuff in there.
Can I ask a personal question? Exactly. Do you prefer the loading or the unloading?
Oh, the unloading. The unloading is work. The loading is a treat.
Yeah, that's what I think. I actually look for... I save up the loading.
You know that little box thing that holds the cutlery?
The individual slots
with individual
slots.
Spoons. I put them in now from further and further away as I've got more confidence. I'm putting the knives in now from, say... 3-4 feet away.
Wow.
Oh, like Phil the Power.
Imagine him loading a dishwasher.
Yeah, I've just realised that Phil the Power is upon.
Mm. Oh, yeah.
Feel the Power. Oh, yeah. It's what we used to call on the show an idiotic eureka moment, when you get something many, many years after everyone else has already got it. Feel that. And even his song is, I feel the power. I still never got it.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
Frank, Kerry, who's helping us out today, yes, I've given her a mention. Why not? She posted a picture of you on our... Where was it, Kerry?
I was relaxing in between tracks.
You say relaxing. Yeah. You were sitting hunched up next to a dustbin, a silver dustbin, looking not unlike Gollum, wearing a hoodie.
Well, as I said, relaxing.
It belongs to the producer of the show.
Yeah, well, it's cold in here. I came in dressed for summer today, and Daisy's loaned me her... I say loaned me, it's contract week. She said, oh, why don't you take my hoodie and anything else you want.
Yeah. Is that Drake or Raleigh? I never can remember.
It's Raleigh who laid down the cloak for...
That's the one I date.
It probably never happened, let's face it.
Mark Bloodsport has said on Twitter...
Mark Bloodsport?
Yes.
Okay.
Excellent. Has said on Twitter, commenting on the photograph
I bet you that's Prince Charles's pseudonym.
Yeah. Has called it Obi-Wan Kenobi and R2-D2 The Wasted Years. Do check it out, the photograph.
Yes, I can see that. I have something of the Guinness. Something of the Guinness about me.
Yeah, something of the Guinness. You mean the Alec, though, don't you?
I do mean the Alec. Certainly not
cold
the
stuff.
No.
You are sat on the floor next to a bin, so I suppose, there could be something of the Guinness about you.
I was interested to read that Posh Boy said that her main meal of the day, she steams vegetables and then she just leans over and inhales the vapour.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's her big meal.
Right. And no wonder she doesn't do the washing up then if she's not eating. It's fine, isn't it?
Well, who washes the steamer?
Oh, yeah.
That's my version of who pays the ferryman. Who washes the steamer? They're all nautical based. They're just different types of craft.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So, Frank, we've established that Victoria Beckham and I both lie awake at night for some hours pondering wardrobe decisions.
Yes.
And I was startled to hear that you do similar.
Well, I'll tell you what I've done. I got there was a photo of me in one of the magazines, full length.
Was there?
And I arrived in...
Is that the name of the magazine? Full length?
I was arriving at the premiere. And I cut it out and had it mounted on card. And what I do now, it's on my bedside table. I've had all my clothes photographed to that scale, with little tabs on, like when you used to hang clothes on in the little girls in Bonte.
Oh, yeah.
And every night when I go to bed, I get out my little filing system of all, shirts. But,
Yeah.
And I dress that little figure, and then I model I plan ahead.
So you sort of storyboard your next day.
Yeah, sometime I'll have I'll put the light off and lie there and think, you know what, I'm not happy. I'm not happy with that shit. And I'll put the light back on and switch it.
Do you know the amazing thing is, he puts all that effort and then he thinks, I'll just wear that suit I wore in Room 101.
Yeah, exactly. No, in reality, as I think I've said on this show before, I do lay out my clothes the night before.
Oh, I find that so heartbreaking.
And I put them on the bedroom chair, and I put them I make a man out of them, a me-sized man.
It's like the Keep Britain Tidy man.
Yeah, so the trousers are there and the shirt slightly up. I mean, I must admit, although I tend to tuck my shirt in, I let the man on the bedroom chair.
He's a bit more cash.
He wears them outside. But yeah, so I do have that sentinel that watches over me in the night.
Nice.
My next day.
Would you ever leave it to chance the next morning?
I don't like leaving anything to chance the next morning. I actually,
Tell me about it.
My contact lenses, and here's a bit of information you'll be thrilled by, are minus 250 in the right eye, minus 125 in the left.
Hang on, fact fans.
Yeah, and I even...
There's quite a discrepancy between your eyes.
Yeah, I even said there's an explanation for this. It's to do with a varifocal theme. Nevertheless, I actually break off one of those and I put them on the side of the sink in order so that the left is on the left and the right on the right. And anything I have to take with me, I put literally against the door so I can't get out the door without seeing it, so I don't forget anything.
Really, do you?
So before I go to bed...
You're such a Doctor Who
My next morning is utterly planned.
It's pre-planned. Wow. See, I read this...
I remember, can I just
go on? Yeah.
I once... I'd forgotten to facial scrub. So what I did...
Oh, no.
That night, I went down into the shower and put the facial scrub in the middle of the floor on the shower, and I thought, I can't possibly miss that anymore. Of course, it worked a treat. Plan ahead, that is...
That's
like some sort of strange eternal flame.
Yes.
Well, I read that Victoria Beckham lies awake at night wondering about what to wear the next day, and I just thought, well, she should, because that's sort of her job, isn't it?
Yeah.
She's a globe-trotting...
Oh, that's her job.
She's a globe-trotting clothes horse now, whereas I perhaps shouldn't.
Is she ever a globe's galloping?
Yeah, something like that. Okay. I lie in bed thinking about different versions of myself, where I'm stronger or fitter or better at fighting or funnier.
Do you?
Oh, I do that as well.
Oh, good. You've got time for that in your life as
Not
well.
Not about me, about you. About
I'm going to devote 10 minutes to Alan's improvement meditation.
Yeah. I imagined you this morning with a full mohawk.
Oh, yeah. Those were the days. Shall I get one just before the Edinburgh Festival? I'll just
you know what I did? I didn't colour it in. I left it in your natural hair colour, which is quite... People often think, well, if I'm going for the mohawk, I might as well go red or something. But I left it in your sort of dirty blonde.
Au naturel.
I imagine maybe you'll come in one morning with quite a dark fake tan.
Yeah.
I just can see you getting
into
that.
I'm going to start wearing a lot of jewellery. I'm going to go for the full mare-like jingle-jangle look.
I'd love that.
But my actual clothing on a non-working day, you know, if I'm not here, where most of the time on this show I would wake up in a hotel, so I would get dressed according to what I've brought away with me. So I do occasionally put my trousers and shirt on a chair, not set up like a man. I'm not a weirdo.
Don't give me that look.
But at home, I dress according to what is on the floor and least crushed and dirty.
Do you keep the clothes on the floor?
I just tip it off the bed at night and onto the floor, and then I get in.
The men commandments.
I am a bit like that, actually. Yeah, it's one of my favourites.
Oh, I hate it when men say those. This is what men are supposed to be like.
I didn't say that.
Like when women say, I love shopping and shoes and pink.
Didn't say any of that.
Oh, well,
I love shopping and shoes.
I'll get my coat, shall I?
It's like the stereotype. I have to say, I spoke to some women who I was working with yesterday about them preparing their clothes. And they said it was mainly based on who they thought they were going to see the next day.
100% agree.
It was based on that.
Nodding from around the room there.
Yeah, and a lot of them are in, they're women who have, got sort of authority at work. And a woman said to me after, the producer of the show said, I just walked in and you were talking to the girls and I heard you say, yes, but can one wield authority with spaghetti straps? Can't be right, can it?
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Dear Frank, Emily and Alun, brackets mostly Emily. I'm starting a new job.
Can I say I love this email?
Yeah, I'm starting a new job. Me too. I've psychologically got my feet up. I'm thinking, I don't need to say out except read this. I'm starting a new job.
Can I just stop the action then so that Alan said out?
Hey?
You don't need to say out. You rarely get that, Yorkshire.
I didn't even realise I'd
that
done it.
was a bit. I could see the three of us sort of walking over fields, one of us with a walking stick.
Me with Louboutin.
Nice.
I think I'd make
Probably
a good compo this
Hunter
morning
Wellies,
in this outfit.
Yeah.
I'm starting a new job lecturing at a college and I'm confused about what I should be wearing. Yeah, congratulations.
Mazel tov.
I'm 23 and shaped like the divine Miss M.
Congratulations.
Short, size 8, small waist, larger bottom.
Lovely.
Bottom has been mentioned. I think we got away with it.
All the age-appropriate workwear I find to look a bit business manager on a date.
That's a good reference.
I need some divine wisdom, otherwise there's going to be some awkward staff room comments. P.S. I'm a fellow member of the Catholic Church and feel like Frank should have a vested interest in my appearance not being of a seductress of teenage boys.
Yes.
We can't deal with more bad press.
No, you
Best
can't,
wishes, Ruby.
Okay, Ruby. You can't do too saucy, as you say, if you're
Can't do
lecturing.
too saucy, but you don't want to go apprentice candidate. This is what I always say.
Good call.
So, much as I love warders, let's not go down that road with your job, with your calling.
No.
I would say you can't really go wrong with a summer dress.
Oh.
Just be careful of the underwear underneath, and make sure it's waisted. You and I, we need to be waisted.
My underwear's pretty wasted, I must say. It's virtually a toxic dump.
Ruby, it's all about accentuating the positive with our bodies.
Is that right?
Not if she's teaching teenage boys.
No,
that's
she needs
exactly
to,
what
she needs to lose
do.
the...
They've got to learn early.
I mean, I'm a big fan of the derrière grand. But
no, you're not. Your ideal woman is Zola Budd.
No, that was way back. I've changed since then, and I sort of like their white D. But I think if you're short and narrow waist, large behind, I'm thinking maybe a Dalek suit.
Oh yeah.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
What about Nuggets just texted us?
Oh, our old friend. Actually, I met Nugget when I was on tour.
You did?
Yeah.
You did?
He's a handsome fella. I didn't expect that. I thought I was thinking...
What are you saying about our readers?
I think he'd be... No, but I think I got mixed... There used to be a Nugget on Big Brother, I think, who was a sort of a pale Cockney chap who thought, I'll wear a hat and that'll make me interesting.
Oh, one of those.
And we've all got our methods for making ourselves interesting. Mine is, I think I used it today. Oh yeah, I did German at school.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you always drop that
See,
one
most people did French, and a lot of people go, oh.
Yeah.
And I think Daisy actually said, oh, did you? Did German at school?
It did make you quite interesting.
Yeah, that's it for me. So, if any readers would like to let us know
what makes you interesting,
that one thing you like to drop in that makes you a bit interesting. Yeah, I'd like to know.
I mean, I can't really. We all know what mine is.
I'd like to know. That'd be interesting.
Triffids.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to top that.
Yeah,
the BBC haven't. They have. They have.
That and when I had to make small talk with Salman Rushdie during his fatwa. Oh, so Nugget.
I hate speaking to people through a door.
There was no door, trust me. Nugget says, having seen the photograph of you, Frank, which we posted, wearing the hoodie with your knees out, says, I've this urge to take a Sharpie and draw Nora Batty's face on your left knee and perhaps Hilda Ogden on the other one.
Well, that's a nice idea.
Yeah.
What's it saying about the state of your knees?
I don't know, but I think that's Doc Cotton in the middle. Anyway.
Oh, my absolute God.
Maybe we should...
Absolute God is a channel we're working on for Absolute as well.
Frank certainly is.
I've been trying to get... They won't bite. I've been pushing that Absolute God. And I've said, we'll play God Only Knows by the...
I can't believe it.
Yeah, Kasabian's thingy in heaven thing.
Oh, yeah.
This monkey's gone to heaven by... Anyway, don't send any more in. It's not that kind of radio show. We just sing song titles. It has to be clever. Par exemple.
Does it?
I met Evie this week, who... I was working on, I'm doing a portrait show at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I was in Cardiff, and there was a a girl who was. She was one of the people working on the show. That we use local people,
Crew.
Yeah, crew.
Yeah.
And
all right, League of Gentlemen.
And she leaned across to me and said, "Surely Bassey." I said, "Sorry." She said, "Surely Bassey." She said, "Long-time reader."
Oh, I love her.
We were talking about tribute acts names. And she was suggesting surely Bassey would be a good one.
Very good.
But I like how she ID'd herself as long-time reader.
Me too.
Nice.
It's lovely, isn't it, that?
Yeah.
There's still a part of me that thinks, even though we get texts that no one's listening, and I think the texts are sent by my agent to up my morale. But no, there are real people.
I say that they're far too wordy for anything your agent would say.
Yes, my agent leaves messages like, Frank's jump. That's honestly one of his phone messages.
And you think that he thinks it's part of his job to keep up your morale by texting a commercial radio station?
Yeah, but he's
somewhat busier, isn't he?
He doesn't like it if I do that. Sometimes I've got into the habit when I call people, I think, well, I don't want to talk about it on the message particularly, so I'll just leave nothing and they'll get missed call.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I hate it when you do that.
Yeah, he's anti that. Well, surely, if you're going to go, Frankie's jump, you might as well just go missed call, and I don't know why people. I'm all for. I found back all my missed calls. And I say
I've got way too many for that.
And I must say, my PPI person, he's absolutely. If anything, they've upped the ante on their defence. Yeah, it's lovely to feel watched over. I must say.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We are still in email corner, Frank. We've had an email in from Nick, who says this. We have a transvestite cover artist here in Cardiff, because you were in Cardiff, you were saying recently, that goes under the moniker Dolly the Sheep Parton. That's from Nick.
I like it, but Dolly the Sheep was named after Dolly Parton, was she not? In fact, I saw Dolly the Sheep recently.
Did you?
Oh, was she?
Yeah, she says hello. No, she's in the National Museum of Scotland in Edinburgh.
That's right.
Is that right?
Yeah. Not far from the NASA landing module that lands on land instead of in the sea and has wheels on it.
No.
How do you like them apples?
Sounds amazing.
Okay.
That's a good name, though. I like that.
Well, I was after the. It is a good. I like after the Shirley Bassey conversation. Mm-hmm. I was on the train thinking about the whole
tribute act
thing, and it seems that there is a clear formula, isn't it? Because they're sort of not real versions. That you just take a word that means unreal, and then you change that. Once you've got that formula, you can rattle them off. On the train, in the space of 10 minutes, I came up with even more Sham 69.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Phony Braxton. Forgery Halliwell. Forgery Halliwell.
Forgery Halliwell. Yeah, but you're also quite complicated, if you don't mind me saying.
Fraudy Mercury.
Fraudy Mercury's good, yeah.
And now this one, I couldn't work out whether this... Well, do you think this works? Suedo.
Suedo.
It's based on pseudo.
Oh.
No, it doesn't work at all.
That doesn't work, okay. All right.
I think they're quite fine, though.
Well, if you were doing... If it was a tribute band for Suede, you could do something like Chamois. You'd have to have the same letterhead.
And you could spell it S-H-A-M, Chamois, because it's a sham version.
Yeah.
Scotchguard, you could be called.
Scotchguard.
Meaning that you're protecting Suede, protecting their legacy.
I used to love that. Bit of a spray on that, on Big Ron's full-length leather.
Yeah, when I go around David Baddiel's house, I cry. Because he has 3 cats and I've become allergic to cats in later life.
Oh, no.
And I'm not saying he'd agree to this, but if I Scotch guarded them...
Yeah? You can't Scotch guard animals.
I don't think it's dangerous, is it? I don't know. Can I say Absolute Radio isn't sure whether Scotch guarding animals is dangerous, so I don't do it until they've looked into it. Because it's their dander... obviously, that's affecting me.
Their dander gets up your nose.
Yeah, and so I think that would keep their dander in place if I Scotch guarded them. I don't want to do anything that harms them. Can I make that absolutely clear? If it doesn't harm them, I'm all for it.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I'd like to talk about a subject close to my heart. There's been a news story that...
Is it an aorta?
An aorta? I thought you were going to say an ale then.
Is it pound shop related?
Oh, come, my lady. Come, my lady. I don't know if you've heard about this story that the school sent a letter out saying that it was proud of their children's attempts in the test and not to worry too much about.
I tell you what, I was with a group.
It's gone viral, man.
When I was at the Royal Academy of Arts yesterday, people were talking about. Yeah, people were talking about this as. The head teacher. Rachel Tomlinson has been absolutely astounded by the reaction. She found the letter on a blog from America, and she basically cut and pasted it to her own needs. Some of the angrier comments on a news article I read said, "Oh, she even plagiarised the letter. What kind of lesson is that to the children?" And I thought, well, that's how we learn things, isn't it? You hear something, then you tell somebody else it. I know, but it's about exams, the letter.
Yeah.
So,
it's about how you don't have to worry about exams.
No, you don't have to worry about exams, and they are
take it that way.
They are told this with an example of copying, perhaps the biggest sin that one can commit in an exam.
Oh, you guys are going the other way on this, aren't you? You're going to go... Oh.
No, when I read
you know what? I don't care how many friends my surgeon has had at school. I want him to have paid attention.
Really?
And I just don't like the way they seem to be advocating.
Your sturgeon, did you say?
My surgeon.
Oh, sorry, I thought you...
And my sturgeon.
I thought you had a sturgeon. Obviously, I was in a school of fish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and my fish connected to my trout farm.
Yeah.
No, I'm afraid I don't subscribe to this. It's a bit namby-pamby for me, I'm afraid.
Right. Yeah. I disagree, because I have long said that I think academic achievements are important only as regards academic achievements. There's the rest of the person that is also to be taken up. Like, some of the best educated people I've ever met are among the worst people I've ever met. So I've got no problem. Yeah, but they always buy
dinner, don't they?
No, they don't.
You should say that. I met Richard Dawkins this week.
Oh, yeah.
We'll leave it there. I think you're living in cloud cuckoo land.
I seriously think your GCSE results...
1970s old granddads response.
I think your GCSE results matter slightly less in life than your table manners. I really think, you need to close your mouth when you've got food in it, and that matters more than how you did in an exam when you were 16.
That's a bit personal when he's sitting right in front of us. Cut deep, why don't you?
Give me a minute.
You see, Al, where do you stand on people say, I'm not an exam person?
Well, I'm fine with that.
Oh, I can't bear people that say that.
They've got to learn stuff.
I'm not saying don't learn anything.
It's important. It's no good sending them a letter if they can't read it.
Yeah. Well, hey, I don't think even the headmaster is saying that. I think they're saying, look, these examiners are only testing you on a certain thing. The rest of your life is also part of who you are, isn't it?
Goodness sake. I never thought I'd say this, but already I'm starting to miss Michael Gove. If this is what the minute his back's turned, everyone says, doesn't really matter about learning, just
never said that.
And here's some clay.
Never said that.
Just take that clay and express yourself. I mean, in fact, God's sake, man. You're making a damn fool of yourself.
I don't think so.
I admit I don't like...
What do you think of the letter then, Frank?
when I first read the letter, I actually got slightly tearful. But it's been a hard week.
Yeah.
But I did, because I loved the bit when they said the examiners don't know that you've got friends who love you and count on you and all that. And it was very, very nice.
Yeah.
When I read that it had been copied... Now, I don't mind it being copied. In the letter, there had been brackets at the bottom saying this was taken from a blog, blah, blah, blah. But the attempt to deceive young children into ignorance, used for that method, I think is completely... Well, as Michelle Thomas would say on my Learn French tapes, it's unacceptable.
Skinner, Dean and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
So we're talking about that A letter?
Yeah. I mean, maybe I've just got...
You can muck about.
Maybe I've just... It's not quite what they were saying, is it? I'm getting touchy about it now.
No, you're getting really irritable.
Maybe I've just got a soft spot for teachers at the moment, because...
I've got a soft spot for teachers. Don't put me on the anti-teachers list.
No, you guys are on the anti-teachers list after this. Last week...
You're suggesting we don't need teachers.
I'm not.
We can just get hippies.
But I will tell you this. You know, they went on strike, what was it, not Thursday that's just gone, but the one before, and everybody was jumping up and down in the media going, they're costing the children a day of education, and what about the childcare and all that? I have to say, my son Cockerell Jr., a.k.a. Little Lord Fauntleroy, he and I had a fantastic day, and I'd just like to thank the teachers for their militant action, because...
I used to love a strike day.
He's been really good recently, so this strike was coming up, and I went, let's go and get you, you said you wanted a basketball, let's go to that big sports shop and I'll buy you a basketball. Went and bought him a basketball, then we had a hot dog.
Sports Direct.
It was a beautiful decathlon, actually, but
Sports Direct. As I've said, if I see anyone recycling a Sports Direct badge, I know that they are genuinely working class.
No, well, maybe me going to decathlon shows that I've moved
You're
up
allowed
a division.
to say that.
Is that right?
Well, no, it's hard to spot the signs now, because when I...
What are the signs now?
When I was in the very bosom of the working class, you could just tell because we looked down at heel, but the working class now are
all the gear.
often quite dressed, well dressed and stuff. Obviously, you know, if you see an England shirt in a shopping mall, you know where you're working. But I find the Sports Direct bag is the new symbol.
Right.
It used to be that
I find a lot of gel on the hair on the Saturday night is quite a giveaway.
Well, in my childhood, it was the bucket in the bedroom, of course, but that's a story we're not going into on breakfast television. So, it reminds me, you saying that, though, of the strikes. When I first started work, the power workers went on strike, and each area of Britain only had electricity for 3 or 4 days of the week, and the rest of it was just not. It was just in darkness.
Really?
So they had to change people's working days. So I'd only just started...
We never had that in Highgate.
Yeah, I only just started work.
We always had electricity there.
Well, we went to a 3-day week because we only had electricity for 3 days in our area.
A bit like being French, I imagine.
And I remember the local Labour Party were campaigning in the local election, and they had their slogan was "Vote for Ted, have 3 days in bed." Ted was the Tory MP. Obviously, I thought, maybe I'll vote for Ted. He sounds like my kind of character.
I've gone a bit Barrowford Primary School.
Yeah, it was really... It was interesting times.
Sounds
I mean,
great.
literally 3 or 4 days of the week with no street lights, nothing.
See, I would listen if history was taught like that. Frank Skinner's History audiobook.
Yeah,
I'd buy that. $12.99.
Okay, well maybe I'll look into that.
I'd go $9.99, but nothing more.
Well, tonight I'm going to party like it's $9.99, and then we'll just think about it after.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I have to raise the
faders.
The faders, yeah, so that we can speak. But I borrowed Daisy's at the producer's top, and it's got thumb holes at the end of the sleeve. You know, people have thumb holes. And I couldn't stretch my arms to the full extent, so I only took the fade. So we were at mid-volume. I had to lean quite along my... So I'm taking the thumbs out. It's an interesting experiment. But,
now it's over.
Leave it to the kids.
Yeah. So me and Cockerell Jr., we went and got him a basketball, and then we went to a shop and I bought myself a hoodie and 2 pairs of trainers. By 11:45 on teacher strike day, I'd spent the best part of 200 quid. And I'm delighted to say it was great. And then we went back to the house.
What was that, on the basketballs?
On various
do you have a hoop to accompany this basketball?
No, I just wanted to practice dribbling on the little bit of paving, and we've made a makeshift hoop using stuff.
If everyone wants to practice dribbling, he should come and lean over my insect bite.
Yeah.
Daisy can give him some tips.
I have to say, it's a bit American, isn't it?
Yeah,
well, the basketball.
Yeah. And then we went swimming.
Well, you say that in a disapproving tone.
Well, it's the cricket season. Wouldn't it be lovely if he'd asked for a pair of pads, for example?
I'll tell you what, if he gets into cricket, I will be so sad about that.
I will as well. It's a bit David Mellor, isn't it?
Profoundly
It's a bit Tory
boring.
MP.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, Alan, don't say that.
I really don't like it.
Don't say
honestly.
I just
Alan,
don't
don't
like the
say it.
people that
It's
like
the same
it.
planet as motorsport.
Oh, no,
literally.
it's so... look, we can't
God.
have this debate on air, but please let it go, or I'll...
You brought it up.
I know
You're the
what
one
I
that
feel.
said, I hope your
If
son
you
gets
continue-
into cricket.
Honestly, I feel like I might
God.
come to despise you. Please stop.
This is like
I'm
Fight
fine
Club.
with that. I'm fine with it.
Oh, are you?
This is like a really unattractive Fight
So I
Club.
took him swimming, and then I bought him a massive donut and a can of lemonade. Really?
What, to stop him from sinking?
No, just after it. I said,
Oh, okay,
do you want...
they do have those life things there. You don't have
So
to use donuts.
I bought him presents, took him swimming, and got him like jacked up on sugar. It was almost like I'd been separated from him, and I was spending a day with him. It was
Yeah,
one of
it's like
those.
being
Like,
a divorce.
I was like
yeah.
separated, Dad. Had a brilliant day though. Really good. Thanks to the
Well,
teachers.
access dads always do.
Yeah, totally.
You put the effort in.
And now the
Except for
school
my
term's
dad,
finished.
who took us to Lord's, and we had to lie and say we'd been to the cinema.
Oh, that's child cruelty, isn't it?
Yeah, we played with the rubbish.
I'm afraid that Alan and the Young Cockerels Day sounds like just like an advert for truancy.
Yeah. There was a bit of me that was thinking, why do we send him there? I've had a quiet week. I could have been hanging out with him.
You've just gone anti-schools. You'll start home learning thing.
Homeschooling, yeah.
Did you take him to an arcade?
No, that would have been... I'll do that next time they have a strike. Hopefully they'll keep it up.
Homeschool. See, the trouble is with the homeschooling is you learn things at school that aren't just in the lessons.
Yeah.
And you don't
Yeah.
get any of that with the homeschooling.
No?
Let us take, for example, the dead leg.
Yeah.
You're not going to learn how to do that at home.
He might.
Yeah.
Well, if you do, I'm afraid it's a social services job.
True enough.
Don't get to experience the vending machine hot chocolate.
Oh, lovely.
I had a difficult one. My son, who's just over 2 now, said for the first time he's actually made an announcement like this. He said, "I don't like beans."
Oh, yeah.
You know, green beans, which is always a blow.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, "Oh, you like beans?" He goes, "I don't like beans."
He
And I
knows his
said-
own mind.
And I thought, why I'll play this? I'll say, "Daddy really wants you to like beans." And so I started by saying, "Well, do you like Daddy?" And he went, "No."
Yeah.
And he said, "No, I don't like Daddy." And I sort of laughed. Inside, I was dying.
Yeah.
Like that time I had to pick up a harvestman spider to show him that they weren't scary. I was inside. I was going, "Ah! Ah!" It was on my hand, this spider. But I was trying to think, I don't want him to be frightened of.
Right.
So I was going, "Look, it's lovely, this spider." Oh, my, it was hot and cold. Shivers
Yeah.
going up and down my... You could have grated cheese on it.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've been talking about cricket on Absolute Radio this morning, and it seems to be proving to be a very bonding issue for you two. They've fallen out over cricket, and I like it.
I wouldn't say we'd fallen out. We just
I'm
have
prepared to
stark
celebrate our differences. Yeah.
Yeah, but you've sort of metaphorically turned your voice chair around on him.
Well, I mean, I accept his liking of elbow. I think he could give a bit in my direction.
Well, Tim Prisoner 307 has emailed us. Morning, everyone. Morning, Peter. In the style of
Morning, Richie.
Richie Benno. I'm emailing from Lord's this morning. I say this morning. He did send this some 10 days, 2 weeks ago.
But he could email from Lords this morning.
Oh,
'cause
is it still
There is a
ongoing?
test match.
Well, he says
it's
when the
it's a different game.
MCC take on the rest of the world.
Ah, yes.
We are celebrating 200 years of cricket being played right on this patch of land. Can the team name any longer-serving homes of sport? First time writer, long time reader. Frank
No.
Skinner.
No. So what should we do now?
Is that it? Is it a no? Surely
I
there's
can't-
somewhere in rugby that rugby was invented and that's
Yeah,
been
but it's still being played there. That's the thing.
What's
isn't
the
it?
oldest
Alright.
one? Everton's the oldest ground, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah. Scousers always tell you information like that. They're very proud.
See, I know the highest ground.
What is it?
The Hawthorns.
Oh.
West Bromwich.
Is it?
No, I don't know. I nearly bought a flat overlooking Lord's cricket ground.
Did you?
There's a thing called Lord's
That's something we
View.
can all relate to, really.
Yeah. Well, it was. I must have told you this because it was a pretty good view.
I bet it was.
You lost about, I'd say, 20% of the actual pitch, but you could see the rest of it.
Okay.
But there was a flat upstairs which was
Someone's banging.
Someone wanted to come in, do you think?
No, that's all right. That's my... Did I tell you about my hostage?
Oh, no.
It's a long story. We'll discuss it off air. Upstairs, the flat, there was a much better flat. You could see the whole thing. And the guy... I said to the guy, God, that's the flat you really want, isn't it, that one up there? And he said, yeah. He said, and the irony is they don't even like cricket. He said, it's Tattoo live there, the Russian duo. He said it was bought by their management.
I bet you rushed to put in an offer after that.
Well, I did.
They were one of your favourites. Let's not lie.
Looking at, I mean, at the time, I'd say it would be probably Michael Vaughan as the captain. Imagine seeing, just watching Michael Vaughan hitting a 4 through extra cover, and then looking up and there's Lena Katina in a bikini. Could you have a better day out than that?
Well, I could, very easily. I think the flat that's got the restricted view is probly worth more than the 100%.
I'm leaving.
He's twisting the knife.
I'm actually leaving.
Hey? I say hey. Anyway, if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.